Coldfire is sick because it is distortion with modulation, and it's all working together. So it gives you a lot of sonic options without having to think too hard about it, especially in the world of distortion, because that's a sound you have to dial in.
Hi, I'm Zaire. I'm from The Orphanage.
And I'm Trevor, and I'm from The Orphanage.
Some of the artists that we have worked with are Lizzo, Kehlani, the Chainsmokers. Started off as a kid playing the saxophone. After that, got into playing the piano a little bit. Then my dad came home with a CD where I can make beats on it. There, I've just kind of been doing it ever since, man. It's just been in me.
Yeah, I was always in bands growing up as a kid. I started on the piano, but then I hated it, so I switched to drums. And ever since then, I was always in rock bands. I always wanted a producer to produce my band, but I didn't know any. So I started learning how to produce so that I could produce demos for myself. And then all these other bands were like, "Hey, can you produce our band?" And I was like, no, but yes, I'll do it. And so it started as, wanting to kind of be on the rock star side of things, and shifted its way into more on the production side.
Going through the process of creating the music is what I typically love to experience. You know what I mean? Especially with good people like Trevor and Oak, and we have two other people on the team, Keith and Alex, who are amazing. Just going through the process of just doing the music is just something that I love to do. And on top of that, getting a Grammy was also a very fire milestone. So that's also dope. Yeah. The first plugin I got introduced to was the June 6. Man, I was using that thing religiously. And whenever somebody needed something that felt retro, oh yeah, I'm going to the June. And then what really upped it up was that Jupiter. That Jupiter,
the brass.
Once the Jupiter came, it was I was like, okay, this plugin is fire. These plugins are dope. And I was like, this company is amazing. They're really capturing the color of what the actual sounds felt like for those keyboards back then, you know what I mean? So once I got a hold of those two plugins, I felt Arteria knows what they're doing. They got a hold on the sound, the feel, you know what I mean? Wow. That sounds crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much just giving it some meanness. And then here we go, we got these pads coming in the back, just coloring it a little bit more.
A little extra color.
Yeah, nothing crazy. We can mess with it here. We want to mess with the sound of it.
I'll actually probably add just slightest amount of color to that too. Yeah.
How it just shakes.
Right.
The color.
Also under mastering, which I think is really cool about this plugin, under mastering, see where it says serial? Right here. Oh, sorry.
Go for it, bro.
Yeah, let's see the mouse. Yeah, so right here.
Damn.
So right here, a serial, if you click here, right here we have it on an A-B, just side to side movement, but you can hit the mid side, and on mid side, it's pretty much just messing with the frequencies in the middle or on the outsides of the sound. So here, if we drag it to the right, you start to really push on those highs on the side and those lows. And then if you push it more to the middle, you start to really filter in those pretty much the mids. So that's why it's called mid-side. I think that's really cool. I've never really messed with a distortion that does that. So this is, to me, very innovative. Also with stereo. Stereo's cool because it's really nothing but panning. So you just kind of just pan hard left, hard right. Which is cool. Again, I've never seen a distortion that does that. I think that's amazing. But yeah, I mean, you just have options in this distortion. I mean, Coldfire just gives you so many options to just be creative with what you want to do with distortion, which I think is really dope.
I just remember the days of just sitting in front of your amp, just tweaking how much gain you have. But this takes it to a whole nother level of not only are you tweaking one gain, you're tweaking two gains, mid and side channel or parallel or different bands.
Right.
You're tweaking the modulation with it. So dude, guitarists would be sitting in front of their amps for 3 days straight getting the right tone.
Which is dope because everything on
Yeah.
Cold Fire is right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so if there's too much lows, then just roll off the lows. If there's highs, roll off the highs. If not enough, add highs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
like
all in
everything is
one.
right there. Yeah, I love it. There aren't any distortion plugins that have the option to add delay. Like, that's crazy.
So let's hear this. I love visual aspects of when you turn up the gain, you see the distortion start to rumble a little more, and it's like it feels like you're watching it just be like
It's forming.
like
Yeah.
getting more angry.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Thanks for watching us use Cold Fire on our tracks. You know, this is the ways that we use distortion, but as you can see, there's ways you can find any spot in the track to use it.